it's hard. It's like, it's really like the family thing is like super hard, you know? And at the same time, like I'm trying to be happy. I'm trying my best to like live every day feeling happy. And sometimes it's hard. Like sometimes I wake up in the morning, I was like, fucking hate my life, you know? And it's like, what do I do? Like, but then I constantly remind myself that I'm a very lucky person. Like what I have, and there's a lot of people don't have that, you know? I have 2 legs, I have 2 arms, I'm still young, you know, I have 2 beautiful children. I breathe on my own.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of people don't out there, you know, and I can dance, I can hear, I can see, like, and that's what's like the most valuable things in life.
Remy, one day you will be all grown up and talking to your son, reflecting on all the crossroads and decisions you made along the way. Which way will you go? What will you choose? While I do not want to keep you from the essential struggles that come with finding you, there are some things that I have learned that I want to share with you. When your mother and I look at you, we are overwhelmed by one feeling. How do we love anyone, anything, so much? We've never known a love so deep and unconditional existed. Thank you for choosing us as your parents. First, you are in charge of you. You have all the power to be whatever you want to be. You are in charge of this decision. Early on, I chose not to follow who I should be and chose a more traditional route. I thought that would make me happy, but I was miserable. The can't get out of bed miserable. I was depressed. It took time and a lot of effort, but I eventually asked myself that important question once again. And this time answered it in a way that was true to me. Who will you be? And I chose me and found my happy. Take time to think about what you want, not what society expects. And if you happen to make a choice that doesn't make you happy, you can answer this question again, like I did, and choose a new path and find purpose. Keep your dreams alive and live in possibility. The world is full of magic, wonder, and love. When you believe in yourself, it's amazing what you can do. When I finally realized I was meant to be an artist, I had to convince myself that I could do it. It wasn't enough to want it, I had to do it. And so I kept painting and created the life I wanted. Wishing and wanting is the first step. Doing it and doing it every day is how anything happens, how anything is possible. You have dreams. Hold them close and don't give them up to pursue someone else's dream. The right time is when you decide that it is the right time. Accept and love yourself for who you are. We come with a mix of amazing talents, gifts, flaws, and shortcomings. Our imperfections, bad decisions, and mistakes can consume us. I spent a lot of my young adulthood trying to do something, be something, and someone that I wasn't. We all have doubts about how we look, if we measure up, if we're worth it. One of the hardest things I've had to do is to accept myself the way I am. To choose love, to choose myself for who I am. You are exactly who you're meant to be. Always choose yourself. This is self-love. Some may say it is selfish love. This is unconditional love for who we are. Remember, before the mirror every day, choose love.
Look in my eyes, you seeing victory. We ain't taking L's, death to our enemies. You see the drip on me, you cannot get with me, you cannot stop me. Sit back and watch me straight to the top. When we drop, you better join us. Boy, we hot, money in the bank, yo, we ain't playing. You should've listened when we said we staying. We ain't going nowhere.
Hey guys, my name is Gleb Savchenko. I'm a professional dancer on Dancing with the Stars, and today on Live Through Love podcast, we talked about my life, my career, how I became an American citizen, and how I moved to this country and pretty much made my dream come true in a way. Cool. Davai.
Gleb,
What's up?
what's up? Thanks for coming in today.
Thanks for having me.
How you
Appreciate it. I'm good. I'm excited. I'm excited to be surrounded by this beautiful art and all the colors, and it has a nice love, aura, and vibe.
Yeah, that's
You know.
amazing. We set it up just for you.
Thanks.
Make sure you feel the love. I want to make sure.
Feel the love. Look.
No, I know.
I
It's
carry
amazing.
the love with me every day.
Yeah, I love it. Thank you for your support.
Of course.
And let's just dive right in. Let's for the listeners that don't know and the people watching, who is Gleb?
Woo. Well, I am a professional ballroom dancer. I work on Dancing with the Stars, and people know me from that show. Most of the people, my fans, know me as a dancer, professional dancer on Dancing with the Stars. I've joined the show season 13. Oh, no, season 16 in 2013. And since then, I've been doing the show for many years, and we're going to season 31.
Wow.
So it's like a real long time. Dance with all the housewives of Beverly Hills, Lisa Vanderpump, Erica Jane, and a couple of country singers, and it was just a great platform, great experience. So that's what people know about me. But if we go back a little bit, I was born in Moscow in Russia. And I kind of danced all my life, and I, boys don't dance, especially in Russia at that time, and for me to dance, it was sort of like a way of, at an later age when I was 14, 15, it was kind of like an escape, I wanted to dance because that's the only thing I saw as an opportunity to get out. I wanted to travel. I wanted to go do all the competitions and everything. And when I was younger, prior to that, kind of like Russian mentality, Russian parents' mentality. If you do something, they really make you do it, 100%. You have to be committed. You either deliver or die. Literally,
All or nothing.
All or nothing. Say we don't want to waste our time to put you through dance and pay for classes and take you there, because it's a lot of commitment. It's a lot of it's a lot of time. If you don't do it properly, and I felt kind of at the beginning I was okay, and then I became better and better and better, and I started really enjoying it. And by the age of 14, 13, I knew that it's going to be my career. I knew that I wanted to become a world champion, and I wanted to travel. And it's always kind of trying to find a way of what's next? What are, where is it going to take me? So in dance kind of took me all over the world, because I lived in so many different places. I moved out when I was 15. I moved to Latvia. Riga is, close by where the Lithuania and Finland, all the European, used to be part of Soviet Union, back in the day. And I moved to Latvia to represent the country, because it was hard for me to, it kind of became the dance world. I'm sure everywhere else, it's very corrupted in a way, I grew up my parents are not wealthy or anything. So it was hard for them to pay for lessons, buy dance costumes, buy dance shoes, and send me to competitions. And if you don't do that, your rank, it's hard to get a ranking. And my dream was to represent the country at the world championship, and only two first couples of the country can go to the world championship, right? Like it's everywhere else. So I found a way to change the country of representation. And I started, like, I had to find a partner. I had to go and represent Latvia, and I danced with a girl from Latvia, and we became champions. And that's how I kind of like, did that. So lived there, and then I moved to New York. Lived in New York in 2004. Kind of like modeled and danced and tried to like figure out. And then I lived in Hong Kong for 8 years, and Australia. And that's where I actually did my first show, Dance with the Stars, Australian version, Dance with the Stars. And then sort of they kind of like US asked me to come over, and that's where like my really dance career transitioned from competitive, being just a ballroom competitive dancer, into show business in a way. I did a little bit of modeling, and I did a little bit of like acting and back in Russia and like commercials and stuff, plus was dancing. But then, when I moved to Australia, I did that show, and then came here, that's kind of like took off a little bit.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So what started off as like, how do I go see the world? And then how do I make this happen? Where there's a will, there's a way. So you dance for another country. Then that led you on this whole journey, and now you're here.
Yeah.
And I know recently, I was informed you're an American citizen now.
Yeah.
That must feel amazing. Like,
well, it's a kind of a crazy story, because I always like dreamed to live in America. That was my dream. Like it was so dumb and stupid, but I remember when I was like 17, 18, I started like going out like to clubs or whatever. And we had this like club where it was in the city, like in the center of Moscow. And, there's a lot of business centers, and there's a lot of foreigners come in for whatever. And I was in a club, and this like girl, I don't remember where she was from. She was like, she wasn't like speaking Russian. She was like, and she asked me where I live, and I lied to her. I said I live in LA. And I was like 18 years old. I was trying to like make like on my broken English, I didn't even speak a word probably. It was like now me looking at that situation, I was like, this is so stupid and so dumb. But I like that dream of being here and being in this country is, I made it happen. And it was a lot of things. It was like, but I always wanted to be in LA. So I feel like whatever you can visualize, whatever you put your mind to, even though sometimes like you think of something not knowing how to make it happen, you literally don't know. Like you just want, like you can think of something that you really wanted to happen, to make it happen, and then it just happens. How? I don't know. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, when you want something so badly and you believe in it so badly, you can manifest it and you make your dreams a reality. But you were also actively pursuing it. So there's one thing about saying it, but then you're actually doing it.
Yeah.
And there's a big difference there, And I always say, it's like, why do immigrants come to this country and, in my sense, they crush it and they make it happen? And for us who are here, we don't know how good we have it sometimes unless you travel the world and see what else is out there. So it's an amazing story that you
to become a citizen of the United States, it was just like a crazy. I mean, if we go slightly back, if you really want to know like exclusive details, moment I moved to, I mean, I'm a citizen right now, so I probably can say it. But the moment I moved in 2004 to New York, I moved as a tourist. I was 19 years old. I had like nothing. I had like $5,000 in my, no, lied, $10,000 in my pocket. Nothing. And I was like trying to work and like model and this and that. And a friend of mine, because I wanted to stay, and I needed to change my status, right? To, be able to stay here and travel and work, right? As a tourist, I can't do it legally.
Yeah.
So a friend of mine was like, listen, there are several ways of doing it. And one of the ways to get married, right? I have a friend. She's got a girlfriend, so you don't have to do anything. Like, she's got a passport. She's from the Ukraine, but she's been here for all of her life, whatever. So we've matched. It was nice, and like whatever, and we kind of made a business arrangement, and got married. She was 34. I was 19, and everything was fine. Like, we had an apartment together, both names, and we've never really technically lived together. We were just friends. I mean, this is super legal stuff, probably going to be edited, but I'm just saying that right before the interview, she filed for divorce. We were about in the month, I was about to get a green card. So I stayed, and I had work permit, like everything, right? And she filed for divorce because she had some problems. Like, her and her girlfriend, they together owned a restaurant in Miami, Russian restaurant, like some kind of like a thing. She didn't want that to go on me as her husband. She filed for divorce, right? So I get a letter in my mail. I have to file for deportation, right? My life is in New York. I'm like dancing and doing something. Like, I haven't been back in Russia for 3 years, right? Like 2.5 years. So I'm like going crazy. Like, what the heck? Like, what am I going to do? And I applied for a work visa through a dance studio that I was with, got approved. But in order for me to get my visa in my passport, like a stamp, I have to leave the country. And my same friend, he goes like, well, listen, you have several options. You either can go to Canada, Mexico, or Russia, right? At that time, I had no money to go to Mexico and spend like 2 weeks for waiting for an appointment. Same with Canada. And my sister was getting married in Russia. So I was like, might as well just go and see my family. I haven't seen them for so long.
Yeah.
My visa is approved. On the other hand, I have a divorce that has just been canceled. So I buy a ticket, fly to Russia, have a just literally backpack, made an appointment in the U.S. Embassy in Russia, go there, and they look at everything. They look at that I was married. They look at the thing, she filed for divorce. Date-wise, everything is legal. Like, it's kind of legal.
Yeah.
And I have a work visa that is approved and valid. I'm as a dancer. But again, it's such a human thing for them to make a decision, right? For the consulate to make a decision. So like, okay, we'll let you know. So imagine all my life, I dreamed of living in the United States. I made it happen. I moved to New York. I did all of this. Like, I worked. So I'm trying to pursue sort of my modeling, acting, dancing career in New York and hustling and doing whatever, not making any money, nothing. But my life is there. Like, I really love, every morning I wake up in Brooklyn, Brighton Beach, or at that time I lived in, Brighton Beach, and I'm happy. I've never felt that. Like, I'm happy, right? I have nothing, but I'm happy. And I do go through an appointment. I celebrate the wedding of my sister. And then 2 weeks later, I get a letter in my mailbox. I'm with my parents. I'm living with my parents in Russia. I was like, what's happening? Yeah. And I get a letter that I have a band for 10 years coming back. They banned me to come here for 10 years.
Wow.
That was in 2006. So I was like, my life is ruined. Like, I can't go back. I have no money to make an appeal. They obviously made a mistake in the embassy. Can't do anything. So I got to figure something out. And I go to Hong Kong. And I lived in Hong Kong for 8 years and danced. I started going back to the competition in order for me to be able to work. Like, I had to get a better ranking in Hong Kong. Like, all the so the clients and students want to take lessons with me, So that's how I not mad, but we already were friends with my ex-wife, and she was a dancer as well. And that's how we started kind of like dancing and everything. And, and that's how we danced, and we were super successful again in the dance. We turned professional dancers. We competed, and but I always wanted to show business. I always wanted to do something. So a friend of mine, Michael, he did he's from Australia, just one dance on the South Australia. He was like, listen, dude, this is such a good thing. Like, you should come and try this, like whatever. And I was like, okay, cool. So I applied for a permanent residency in Australia together with my partner and Elena, with my ex-wife. And we got approved. We moved to Australia. Well, Olivia was already born. We moved to Australia. I can't come to US for another, God knows how many years. It's already been, 5 years? So it's another 5 years left.
Counting down.
And then we went to Australia, and then we both became on the show. And that's how they contact me from here. And they're like, oh, we want you to be a dancer. I was like, cool, but guess what? I can't come. I have 5 years. I still can't come back to the US. And then, but I knew like deep down, like whatever the decision's been made, it was not really, because everything like legally by dates and pay, like everything is, I'm kind of clean, I did everything right. On paper, I did everything right. I didn't lie or anything. So like, okay, send it over to our ABC lawyer. We can look into it. And I sent everything, and literally within 3 months, they made an appeal. ABC paid for it. And they sent me this big letter with an apology of that they literally made a mistake. Like they kind of like ruined my life in a way, And then I get a visa 6 years later. So it's still kind of kept 4 years of waiting.
Yeah.
And the moment I get the visa, I was kind of traveling back and forth between Australia and Hong Kong, like working. I tell Elena, I was like, listen, buying a ticket, fucking flying to LA. And that's it. And we flew the first time. I remember I rented a convertible, and it was like insane moment. So being banned for 10 years, and then just last year, August, getting an American passport. That's like on another level, like a dream come true,
And resilience.
Yeah. So for me, it was like a moment of like a big change. Yeah. Crazy. Like when I think about it, I was like, wow.
No, it's an amazing story, and like the struggle of how you got here. A lot of people are like, oh, look, it's Gleb from Dancing with the Stars. He's my favorite dancer. He's been on for 10 years, but they don't know what it took for you to get there.
Yeah.
Right? And I just want to take a couple steps back. So when you first got that letter where they said you are banned for 10 years, how long before you made the decision for Hong Kong? And like, what were you really feeling in that moment?
Well, so kind of like taking a few steps back when I was in Latvia dancing, like my dream was just to be a world champion, right? Like I was a kid, like I wanted to be world champion in ballroom dancing, whatever it takes, right? Like I work hard, train hard, like I made moves and changed the country or whatever. But when I was in Latvia, I was like 16 years old, and I fell in love with this girl in the studio and she wasn't my dance partner, right? And her family was very like business oriented, like they're like, you have to go into university and study and this and this. And they were kind of like, her parents were successful. So I looked at it, and it kind of like, it was an example for me. Oh, what? Like, that's like, maybe that's how it's supposed to be. Like, and her mom we start dating, and her mom would always tell me like, you can't make money with dance. Like there's no like, what are you going to do? Do you want to be the dance teacher all your life and, charge per lesson, and it's such a limited hours a day you can teach, and this is your body. Like what's what are you going to do? So I started thinking about it. Like it was constantly in my head. And I was like, well, I kind of like put that dream aside. Like it kind of like didn't really want that anymore. I wanted something else. So when we at the end we started dancing together, and my ranking dropped, everything. I was just like not doing so well anymore. I didn't want to become a world champion. I wanted to do something else, but I didn't know what I wanted. Right. So she from Latvia, she moved to Moscow and went to the university to study law. Right. And parents paid for it. Like, you know, they set her up. And I was like, I went back with her to where I came from. Like I took 20 steps back. Like I wanted to become a world champion, did all this, but now I'm back in Moscow. So I went to, and I started working in a fitness center as a dance instructor. Right. And I kind of like shifted my focus. I was like, what's next? What can I do? And one of the girls who were like coming in to take my classes, she was a model. She was like, have you ever tried modeling? Like, I'll take you to the model agency. And that's where kind of my show business career started, right? I was like very successful doing modeling, doing commercials, and kind of a little bit of acting and stuff like that. And then I became so popular in Russia that every channel, like I swear on my life, like it would flip channels. It would be like, oh, juice commercial. And then there was like a Gillette commercial and this commercial. And I was literally every single thing. And there was like awarded with like top faces in Moscow. Like I was like, I'm so huge like right now. Like this country is so small. Like I'm going to go to America and become next Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
That's what literally crushed me when I came to New York with zero English. And that girlfriend's grandparents, they lived in Coney Island in Brooklyn, right? In one of the housing, like what's it called? Housing commission, like when they give you the free housing. And there's like, so the first step I took, so I got my visa through, I did a music video in Russia with this girl. She's a singer. She won Eurovision that year. And we did her first music video. And her producer and they had like a world tour for the Russian community. And they took me with them on a trip it was like a Chicago, Miami, like all of the cities for like 2 weeks. That's the first time I came to America. That's how I got my visa. So I had a visa for 3 years, multiple entry visa as a tourist. And I came for the first time with them. And the first time I came to LA, they like stayed in Beverly Hills Hotel, like all the like, and I was like, oh my God, this is where I belong.
Yeah.
This is where I want to be. And so while this whole thing was happening, while I was working in the fitness center, making my friend from the dance studio, like he would start going to Hong Kong to teach. He would go there, like make a lot of money and come back. So I was like, Dennis, like take me, like I want to go there and like start working. So he took me a couple of times. So I had a little bit of connections, and that's how I saved my $10,000 and moved to Coney Island, Brooklyn, and stayed. And that's when my friend was like, oh, you should get married, blah, 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 all of this. And I said, I'm staying. Later, I came back, got banned. And I was like, okay, what's next? So the only way to like support myself was Hong Kong, to go back to Hong Kong. So I went back to Hong Kong. And because it's never changes. It's like, it's always the same thing, right? And I started teaching, and that's kind of, but on the back of my head, the show business, what I wanted to do, it's always been there. And when my friend Michael said, oh, you should do Dancing with the Stars, I jumped on it. I was like, we're doing it, you know, and that's kind of like took me back to dance.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing also is you just kept moving forward. You had an obstacle hit you, you moved forward. You had an obstacle hit you, you moved left. You moved forward, you moved right. You moved forward. So you just still found a way to get back to what you were trying to do this whole time.
Yeah.
And now you're here. You're an American citizen. You're dancing.
Started from the bottom, now we're here.
Yeah.
Hey. I don't know. It's always been, it was never enough in terms of like, not some sort of success or anything. It was always a competition with myself. What's next for me? Like I was never satisfied with of what I have. And sometimes like even now, it kind of like I have the same feeling. Like what's next? Like I want to win Dancing with the Stars. Like that's like my dream. Now, hopefully, fingers crossed, I'm back on the show and I'm gonna have a partner who's got potential to win the show. I've never won. I came second, I came third, I made a lot of finals, but I never won. So I know it's not a big deal because people probably forget like the next day when we do Good Morning America, like whoever, like it doesn't matter. But for me, like I worked all my life to do this, and that I just want to do this. And then what's after this, we'll see. Hopefully I'll have my own tour. Really want to do my own tour, like a solo tour, while I still can dance. Getting old. And then see what's gonna what's gonna happen. But it's always kind of like a struggle of finding something that's always like finding something that motivates you and pushes you forward. But commitment, and you always like, I find that I'm 38, so I just recently like really start listening to myself. I feel it's very important for a person to be happy and to be able to not regret things, even though it is a mistake, might be a mistake. But when you feel, when you're listening to your gut feeling, like what your heart tells you, you should just go with it. Because at the end of the day, we're all gonna die. We're all gonna, not gonna take anything with us. And then when I like laying there, and all this like ghost opportunities standing next to me, and I'm going through my life being like, oh, I should have done that. Oh, I should have done that. Even though I could have failed, but like I'm like, fuck it. I'm just gonna do it, and excuse my language. I'm just gonna do it and see what happens,
Yeah, because if we live in regret, we become resentful. If it's shoulda, coulda, woulda, we can't control any of that. But you can control listening to yourself if you tune in and taking action for that. Yeah. And sometimes it's so scary. Sometimes like your thoughts and like, what if it's not going to work? What if it's this? What if it's that? Like people love feeling safe and comfortable, and that's why, maybe not have certain things and not feeling secure. But at the same time, like I take a chance, and then it might happen, but I'll work hard, it might happen, it might not happen, but I'll take a chance and see what's going to happen. Being well lived, right? You took the risk. They don't always end up the way we want them to end up, but if we don't learn from our mistakes, it's a mistake. If we learn from our mistakes, that was the step that took us to the next place. Yeah. And everything you got to do with love and live through love. Exactly. Exactly. So we'll transition perfectly now. I do have some dance questions we'll come back to at the end. But how do you navigate all this now as a father, traveling, being in consistent places? How does that affect your health, your fitness, and you just being a dad? I mean, look, it's hard. Yeah. It's really hard because, I've been going for the last year, like I've been going through divorce and like transitioning, being a single dad, and like there was a lot of like hate on social media, and there's a lot of rumors and stuff like that. But it affects you because you know the truth, and you know the reason of the whole thing. You know what it is, and it affects you and my kids, and like how people look at me, and like
I constantly like live with that in a way. And mentally, like it's very depressing. You know, you go like I go through stages of like being happy and like I'm trying my best to be the best dad possible for my girls, you know, and it's really hard to, you know, share custody and going 50-50 with the girls because we, you know, and I have huge respect to my ex-wife and think she's super talented, amazing person, but we're very different. And we kind of like fell out of love with years, and we have a very different vision on like our life, the way we raise kids, like the way we want something for kids, you know? And it affects me because it's a constant battle. Yeah. It's a constant battle with her. It's a constant battle with myself of like, do I give in or like what, how, like, so it's hard. It's like, it's really like the family thing is like super hard, you know? And at the same time, like I'm trying to be happy. I'm trying my best to like live every day feeling happy. And sometimes it's hard. Like sometimes I wake up in the morning, I was like, fucking hate my life, you know? And it's like, what do I do? Like, but then I constantly remind myself that I'm a very lucky person. Like what I have, and there's a lot of people don't have that, you know? I have 2 legs, I have 2 arms, I'm still young, you know, I have 2 beautiful children. I breathe on my own.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of people don't out there, you know, and I can dance, I can hear, I can see, like, and that's what's like the most valuable things in life, you know. And if we don't think that, like sometimes, like I go to bed counting my blessings, you know, like I'll live that day, and like I'm super, super grateful for that. Yeah, maybe things don't work, maybe this and this, and it's okay, you know, because on the end of the day, we're all gonna figure it out, we're all gonna make it work. But what we need to remember that we have one life and we live our life. Like you have to live your own life. You don't want to sacrifice your life for something that at the end of the day you're gonna regret. And that's I figure that, you know. And I was like, I choose to be happy. I choose completely disconnect from negativity. I choose completely not being involved in that negative aura, that whatever. Like I don't want that.
Yeah. And I can imagine some of that negativity with the media portrayal and tabloids just amplifies it more. So for you to be able to tune in and be able to tune it out, yeah, being happy is a choice. And it doesn't mean we're happy every single day. Yeah. But if we can get back to happy as more often than not, is important. But I want to acknowledge you for the one thing that you really said is like, I can dance, I can breathe, I can walk, I can move. Not once did you say, oh, I have fame, I'm on TV, I have nice things, and I have money, right? Because that stuff's not that important. The stuff that you really talked about is like my girls and my health. Yeah. That's your wealth. Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. Because I think nothing can replace. I was taking my daughter for a haircut. Right. So it was my days. She said, I really want to get a haircut. And while she was getting a haircut, I was getting a coffee, and like my friend owns a place in Beverly Hills. Right. So I'm sitting in the Beverly Hills. Obviously, everyone's kind of wealthy and have money and everything. So, and I see this guy. He was like limping. He was very old, very, very old. He's like probably 70, like, or something, but he was driving. He jumps into a Rolls Royce, convertible Rolls Royce. And I was like, I'm looking at him and I was like, he has everything. And probably he lived his life and everything, like, you know, and he's happy. But he doesn't have his time. You know, like he would, if I would go up to him and be like, listen, let's switch, he would 100% do it. If I would be having nothing, he would 100% do it. I saw it in him. Yeah. I saw it because the things don't make us happy. It's very temporary. You know what I mean? Because one day we like this and makes us feel happy for a second, and that's it. We just need to really embrace what we have. Like, that's what I think. Like,
yeah. I love that. That what you just brought up is so true. Because, and I've heard it, and we've heard it from a lot of people, it's like, the only thing we cannot buy is time back.
Yeah.
Right? And there's only certain things we can control. We can control our word and how we keep the word with ourselves. So, like, figuring out how to maximize our time on this planet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, everything you're saying and how you're sharing that story just resonates.
And I constantly remind myself of that. And again, I don't live that every single day, but I think of that. Like, I try to do that, you know, like, and I'm sure we all want, you know, a sick house and cool car and this and that and all of that. And it's great because that's sort of those like things motivates some sort of people and so, you know, and it's cool. But I think for me, for myself, like I want to like, I just want to live a good life in terms of being a good person. I want to share love, you know, and that's what the most valuable thing we have, like being positive and you know, just appreciate people, time, just in general thing, like just a normal, regular things. Always be grateful for what we have.
Yeah.
I think, and that's what God gave us, you know.
And not letting those other things define us.
Exactly.
You want to be known as a good person. I want to define myself as a good, loving person. All the other stuff's bonus.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. And it's great. I mean, like, it's not a priority. Like, it's great to, you know, have all the things, and it's great to freaking win a lottery. I would love that, you know.
Yeah, who wouldn't? Like, I haven't thought.
I would love.
What would you do if you won the lottery?
Okay, so I actually do play a lottery quite a lot, quite a bit. It just kind of excites me because I know it's like people win, right? So people do win. So it's like if you look at the Powerball, you look at the Mega Million and all of that has like 300 million or whatever. If I win a lottery, I'll probably like not touch the money for about 6 months. I would just be sitting and I would be like, just kind of like living my normal life, even knowing that I have that money, right? Just to see how is it going to kind of affect me and change me for a second, you know? Yeah. And I would like, and I would help, and I would like, obviously like I would set my whole family for life and do like right investments and stuff and whatever. But I would make sure that would not change me as a person. You know, I wouldn't become like cocky and like this and that. Like, no, I would continue my regular job. You know, I'll go on tour. I would hopefully, like, if I'm picked up next season for a show, like, I would do a show. Like, I would still do the same thing. You know, I might buy myself something.
Lamborghini.
Lamborghini.
Ferrari. The
Urus. The Lambo. No, my dream is actually G-Wagon.
Okay.
I love it.
I'm a BMW guy.
Yeah. I love your car too. Like the love sign.
Yeah.
So sick. But then I don't know. I might travel. You know, I might find like a hobby or something. What would I do? I would.
Dude, it's funny though. The hobby thing.
Yeah.
Because people are like, you dance for a living. That's a hobby. I paint. that's a hobby. We are doing what we love. Our hobbies are our life and our passion.
Yeah.
So what would be a hobby for us? Travel is one thing I would do for sure. Travel more.
You know what I would get? I would get like a sick ping pong table. Yeah.
We'll customize it, put some love on it.
Oh my God, that would be so sick.
Right?
That would be so, like my dream, because I love playing ping pong. My dream is to have like a really unique, one of a kind ping pong table that I actually use it can play. This is amazing. I like, honestly, yes.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Yeah.
We don't have to win the lotto to do that.
No. Yeah.
Cool.
That would be like, because it's flat and you can like do like, that would be so insane. Have you ever done ping pong table?
I've done pianos.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll show you.
Nice.
Big old grand piano. Huge.
Nice. That would be amazing. Yeah, but I would help people, you know, like I would help people in general, like, I don't know.
Yeah, I'd be doing what I'm doing and I'd just do it more.
Yeah.
Right? How many more murals can I paint around the world, right? And not worry about who's going to help me sponsor this thing and pay it. No, I'm just going to go do it.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Cool. So I do have some questions though. Dancing questions.
Okay.
Because I'm one of those guys where if I get in the zone, I could dance, loosen up a little bit. For the most part, I think everyone's looking at me like, oh, you look funny, you look weird. So that's the conversation in my head.
Right.
Have you ever had that conversation?
Well, so in ballroom, like what I've been doing all my life, because I've been like training, right? Like, and we've been trying like technical, like technique, how the thing's done, how you lead the partner, how you dip the girl, like, and all of the practice sessions were in front of the mirror. So you're literally looking in the mirror and you studying your movement and you try to perfect your movement. You're trying to perfect the connection. You're trying to find that feeling, what's, you know, right. And then you have coaches who help you and tell you what's better and this moves is better. So when it comes to performance and when like I work on the show, I know that this and this, it's like a Lego, it's like a puzzle. I know like if I do cucarachas with the sliding doors and the fan position and the hockey stick and I put this whole thing together for rumba, I'm gonna make myself and my partner look amazing, you know? So it's almost like I find it like very, very similar. Like the moment I need to dance, I just turn it on, right? And like I know it works. The same thing with acting, I think, like actors like Johnny Depp or somebody like Brad Pitt, they can sit and have a normal conversation, but when you ask them, you give them a character, they become that. And there's a technique where they dig in really deep in their nature when they already know what looks good and how they look and then where they move. And there's like a certain, you know, that's the same thing. If it's like in the club, I don't really dance in the club.
Yeah, that's what I was really getting at.
No, you know what I mean? Like if I go to a club, I might have like a couple of drinks and like I chill, but I'm not going to turn on my ballroom thing in a club.
No, yeah.
Dude, that's going to look weird. Everyone's like, what is he doing? Like that's going to be like really.
Exactly.
You know,
no, it's funny though, but looking at things that make you uncomfortable, but more as if I break it down step by step by step, which is what you do with your partners.
Yeah.
Because how many of them have any practice or any history?
Yeah.
And you wanting to be that champion of the show also isn't only about your skill. It's about how you can coach, how you can hold space for this person, so I think that's why it's important for you from what I'm feeling. Because you're taking someone to that.
Yeah. And the thing is like, it's almost like a competition with myself, right? Like how can I take a person who's never danced before, make her dancer, tell her story that is going to relate to people and people, you know, going to love her and vote for her and feel something for her, that hopefully, and plus our performance every week by week, you know, the people will see that she improved and like she really puts. But again, it's such a thing. Like if I would be dealing on my own and I would just train myself, and like it's only that much I can do, that much I can push myself, and there's like really, you know, I can try the very best to be, I don't know, the best ping pong player, but obviously there's someone better, right? So it's almost like we're trying to perfect something that never can be perfect, but because we're dealing with two people together, it's not just up to me. Yeah. Like I can do that much for you. Now it's up to you. And if the universe clicks, it's such like a gamble in a way that, you know, you might win the show, you might make the final. The worst feeling is when you make the final and you're like third or second place and you don't win. That is the worst feeling, because all that 11 weeks, 12 weeks, you put so much work into it. It's literally every single day you work on your 100%, right? And you're so exhausted. Your brain doesn't work. You have no more ideas with choreography and the concept and everything. And you get into that final week of the show for the finale. You have 3 dances to learn. You have the freestyle. And when you make the final and you stand there and they don't call your name, sucks. But then at the same time, you're feeling relief, such a relief and gratitude of just being there, you know, and you've done all your hard work. And I mean, listen, it's okay. Didn't happen, but you pushed yourself. So every season, I push myself. There are seasons when you have someone, then when you be like looking at the picture with everybody else, you'll be like, okay, week 5 and we'll go home. You know what I mean? Yeah. There's nothing I can do, really. I've done that much, right? So like we've been joking with Nikki Glazer. I danced with Nikki Glazer, comedian. And I was like, hopefully we don't get eliminated first. And we didn't on the first week because there was no elimination. We got eliminated on the second week because that was the first elimination. Yeah. So, but we're like, listen, we had a good time. We're friends. Like we had a good vibe. Like we had fun. Okay, cool. Your Dance with Stars journey is over, but we've developed a long ass friendship for a very long time. So that's also for me is important to, you know, have that good energy. I mean, there is much I can do on the show, but if I have someone's really good, I'm going to push, you know?
Yeah. Well, that's cool because you're always looking at the positive.
Yeah.
So is there anyone that you wish or hope that you can dance with one day? Or top 3 people?
Ooh, that's a good one. Top 3 people. I'll take Margot Robbie. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. I think she would be amazing. I wouldn't want to dance with Amber Heard. No. For sure. I think for me it's got to be someone who is like willing to learn, has talent, likable, not too old, fairly young, because it requires a lot of physical, you know, activity, like just, you know, it's a lot of physical demand, right, on your body. So there's only certain things I can do with an older person, you know, and there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. But I'm just saying, like, if I want to really showcase myself as a teacher, as a dancer, I need to do certain things, right? So I have to have a partner like that. I mean, from the past, right? Like someone like Zendaya, who did the show, Normani did the show, Nicole Scherzinger did the show. So all of those girls, they're like kind of like actresses / dancers, singers. So talented people. They know how to act on camera. They know there's a lot of pressure, you know. But also it's very weird because last season I danced with Mel C, the loveliest person, like super nice, super genuine, like real. But she sort of had that stage frightening, like mood, like, and she's Spice Girl. Like when I got her, I was like, damn, I'm winning the show, you know? But then when we start, it was just very, like, she would get like, and I guess it's very different, like when you sing on stage but when you dance, it's very different, you know? And we had this conversation, it was like, she said to me, she goes like, I'm in the same group as Mel B, right? Who actually did the show and came second. And she goes like, we're very different. Like she's such a good in dancer in this. And she goes like, I'm an amazing singer. Like I can't dance, but it's different. So
yeah, it's interesting because the singing is what they're doing. The dancing is the second part.
Yeah.
And like when someone's singing, you're not looking at Beyonce. You are looking at her dance, but you're listening to her sing, and you're there for the singing. She happens to be able to move too and put it all together. Or J-Lo, like
exactly,
that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
So it's my favorite part. It's my favorite question. Gleb, how do you define living a life through love?
Living a life through love. I mean, you just have to like tune in with your heart and just be a good person and share love and just in general love life. And if you can love life and love your life in your own body, being a human being, that light, that positivity, that aura, that positive energy will shine, and you don't really have to do anything because you will always prioritize love in the situations, different situations, and you always will be able to give that. You know, it's all about giving, you know, without thinking, oh, I'm gonna like gather something from that. Like, just, I don't know, just love people, love life, love, you know, situations, and just, you know, have a good energy. And that's what I think. It's all, for me, is all about positivity, like being a good person, have a good energy, and good vibe, because, you know, you can feel the people when they have a little like weird something, like it's a little, you know, again, we live in a world that is very harsh, you know, so being just that naive and innocent sort of like, oh, whatever, and, you know, but be humble, you know, like be humble and remember where you come from. Remember that God gave you this opportunity, and, you know, with your hard work, but also like God helps you, and, you know, with everything you do, and just be grateful for that.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
And where can everyone find you?
Okay, so you guys can follow me on Instagram. It's Gleb Savchenko official. Twitter is Gleb_Savchenko, GLEB_ my surname. Also, give us a follow. My girlfriend and I, we just started a little like travel blog on Instagram. It's GE_stories. So we post a lot of content from all the trips that we take. Like we do a little photo shoots together. So we try to like be creative and kind of like, it's kind of like a little hobby for us to do. So give us a follow, GE_stories. And that's it. And, you know, hopefully vote next season we moved to Disney Plus. So it's a little different platform, streaming platform. I'm super excited for this too.
Yeah.
It'll gonna be a lot of fun.
Awesome. I can't wait.
Thanks. All right. Thank you.